Your January payment could look very different than you expect. Right now, thousands of retirees across America are asking the same question. Is there really extra money coming in January? Let me cut through the confusion and give you the facts you need. The Social Security Administration has announced the 2025 cost of living adjustment, and yes, your monthly benefit is increasing. We're talking about a 2.5% boost that translates to an average increase of around $50 per month for most recipients. For someone receiving the maximum benefit, that puts their monthly check at approximately $588. Over the course of a year, these adjustments add up to significant money in your pocket. But here's where it gets interesting. There's been widespread discussion about additional stimulus payments, and I'm going to break down exactly what's happening, what's confirmed, and what you need to watch for. The difference between getting money you're entitled to and missing out often comes down to understanding the system and knowing your eligibility. January marks a critical time for Social Security recipients, and the changes coming could mean hundreds or even thousands of extra dollars for you this year. Let me show you exactly how this works. Let's talk about what's really happening with your Social Security benefits in January 2025, because there's a lot of information floating around out there, and not all of it is accurate. I want to make sure you have the complete picture so you can plan accordingly and understand exactly what money is coming your way. This isn't about hype or clickbait. This is about real changes that affect real people, and you deserve to know the truth. First things first, let's address the cost of living adjustment that everyone's been talking about. The Social Security Administration calculates this adjustment every single year based on inflation and the Consumer Price Index. For 2025, that adjustment sits at 2.5%. Now, I know that might not sound like a huge number when you first hear it, but let's put this into perspective and see what it actually means for your monthly budget. The average Social Security retirement benefit right now is about $1,976 per month. With this 2.5% increase, that average benefit jumps to approximately $2,026 per month. That's an extra $50 a month, which works out to $600 over the course of the entire year. For many families living on fixed incomes, that $600 can make a real difference. It might cover a couple of extra trips to the grocery store each month, help with utility bills during those expensive winter months, or contribute toward prescription medications that seem to cost more every single year. But here's where things get more interesting, and this is what a lot of people want to know about. If you're receiving the maximum Social Security benefit, your situation looks quite different. The maximum benefit for someone who retired at full retirement age in 2025 is approximately $4,018 per month before the COLA increase. After applying that 2.5% adjustment, we're looking at around $4,108 per month. Now, if you waited until age 70 to claim your benefits, which gives you those delayed retirement credits, your maximum benefit could reach approximately $5,108 per month. That's where some of these higher numbers you've been hearing about come from. Over the course of a full year, someone receiving that maximum benefit is looking at over $61,000 in Social Security income. That's substantial, and it shows why understanding your claiming strategy and when you start taking benefits matters so much in the long run. Now let's get into the part that's causing the most confusion and, honestly, the most frustration for a lot of people: the question of stimulus checks. Here's what you need to understand about how stimulus payments work in this country. Stimulus checks are not automatic annual payments. They're not built into the Social Security system. They're emergency measures that Congress has to specifically authorize and pass into law. During the pandemic, we saw 3 rounds of economic impact payments. There was the $1,200 payment under the CARES Act in 2020, followed by the $600 payment in December 2020, and then the $1,400 payment under the American Rescue Plan in 2021. These were emergency responses to an unprecedented economic crisis that left millions of Americans struggling to pay their bills, put food on the table, and keep roofs over their heads. Since those pandemic-era payments, there has not been another federally authorized stimulus check for the general population. And this is important to understand because there are a lot of misleading headlines and videos out there claiming that stimulus checks are coming in January 2025, and that's simply not accurate based on current federal legislation. As of right now, Congress has not passed any new stimulus bill, And there's no federal program authorizing additional direct payments to Social Security recipients beyond a regular COLA adjustment I just explained. I know that's probably disappointing to hear if you were counting on extra money, but I'd rather give you the honest truth than string you along with false hope. However, and this is a big however, there are some state-level programs and specific circumstances where additional payments might be available to you, and this is worth paying attention to. Some states have implemented their own stimulus or relief programs for residents, particularly for seniors and people on fixed incomes. California, for example, has had various relief programs over the past few years. Colorado sent out Tabor refunds to eligible residents. New Mexico provided tax rebates. The specifics vary dramatically from state to state, and eligibility requirements are different depending on where you live. Some of these programs are based on income thresholds, while others are available to all residents who file state taxes. If you want to know whether your state has any programs like this, your best bet is to check your state's Department of Revenue website or contact your state representative's office. They can give you accurate, up-to-date information about what's available in your specific location. There's also something else that confuses people, and that's the difference between regular Social Security payments and Supplemental Security Income, or SSI. These are two different programs administered by the Social Security Administration, but they operate under different rules. SSI is a needs-based program for people with limited income and resources who are either aged 65 or older, blind, or disabled. The federal SSI payment for 2025 is $967 per month for an individual and $1,450 for a couple. Some states add supplemental payments on top of that federal amount. If you're receiving SSI, you might be eligible for additional state supplements depending on where you live. California, New York, and several other states provide these extra payments. Again, this varies by state, so you need to check what's available in your area. Let's talk about the payment schedule for January, because this trips people up every single year. Social Security benefits are paid out on a specific schedule based on your birth date. If you were born between the 1st and 10th of the month, your payment comes on the second Wednesday of the month. If you were born between the 11th and 20th, you get paid on the third Wednesday. And if you were born between the 21st and 31st, your payment arrives on the fourth Wednesday. However, there's an exception to this rule. If you started receiving benefits before May 1997, or if you receive both Social Security and SSI, you get paid on the third of the month, regardless of your birth date. In January 2025, that means the first regular payment for most people hits on January 3rd, which is a Friday. Then we have payments going out on January 8th, 15th, and 22nd for everyone else, depending on their birth date. Understanding this schedule helps you plan your budget and know exactly when to expect your money. Something else that's really important to mention is that your Medicare Part B premium gets deducted directly from your Social Security check. For 2025, the standard Medicare Part B premium is $185 per month, which is an increase from the $174.70 we saw in 2024. This means that even though you're getting a COLA increase, a portion of that increase is going to be eaten up by the higher Medicare premium. For someone receiving the average benefit, that $50 monthly increase from COLA gets reduced to about $40 after accounting for the Medicare premium increase. It's frustrating, I know, but this is the reality of how these systems interact with each other. If you have a Medicare Advantage plan or supplemental insurance, you might have additional premiums coming out as well, so make sure you understand your total deductions. Now, here's something that a lot of people don't realize, and it could mean significant money for you. There are legitimate programs and benefits that many seniors are eligible for, but simply don't know about or haven't applied for. The Medicare Savings Programs, for instance, can help pay your Medicare premiums, deductibles, and co-payments if you meet certain income requirements. There's the Qualified Medicare Beneficiary Program, the Specified Low-Income Medicare Beneficiary Program, and several others. These programs have different income limits, but they can save you hundreds of dollars every month. Similarly, there's the Extra Help Program, also called the Low Income Subsidy, which helps with prescription drug costs under Medicare Part D. If your income is below about $23,000 for an individual or $31,000 for a couple, you might qualify. That's not poverty-level income, folks. These programs are designed to help middle-income seniors, but millions of eligible people never apply because they don't know these programs exist. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, commonly known as SNAP or food stamps, is another resource that many seniors overlook. There's sometimes a stigma attached to these programs, but let me tell you something. These are benefits you've paid into through your taxes your entire working life. There's absolutely no shame in using them when you need them. SNAP eligibility for seniors often has different, more lenient rules than for other populations. Many states have simplified application processes specifically for seniors. If you're struggling to afford groceries, this program could put an extra couple $100s a month toward food costs. That's real money that stays in your pocket for other expenses. Let me also address something about Social Security that causes confusion and sometimes panic. Your benefits are protected by law. They can't be reduced arbitrarily. When people talk about potential changes to Social Security, they're usually talking about future policy changes that would affect future beneficiaries, not current recipients. Your benefit amount, adjusted for COLA each year, is secure. Now, that doesn't mean the Social Security system doesn't face long-term funding challenges. It absolutely does, and Congress will need to address those challenges at some point. But any changes they make are extremely unlikely to reduce benefits for people who are already receiving them. The political reality is that cutting benefits for current retirees is essentially political suicide. So when you hear scary headlines about Social Security running out of money, understand the context. The system may need adjustments to remain fully funded long-term, but your current benefits are not in immediate jeopardy. Here's something practical you should do if you haven't already. Set up your My Social Security account online at ssa.gov. This free account lets you verify your benefit amount, check your payment history, get tax documents, and manage various aspects of your Social Security. It takes maybe 15 minutes to set up, and it gives you direct access to your information without having to call the Social Security Administration and wait on hold forever. Speaking of which, if you do need to contact Social Security, early mornings and midweek tend to have shorter wait times than Monday mornings or late afternoons. Wednesday at 8 a.m. is usually your best bet. Tax time is coming up soon, and this is another area where people get confused about Social Security. Depending on your total income, a portion of your Social Security benefits might be taxable. If your combined income, which is your adjusted gross income plus non-taxable interest plus half of your Social Security benefits, exceeds certain thresholds, you'll owe federal income tax on up to 85% of your benefits. For individuals, if that combined income is between $25,000 and $34,000, up to 50% of your benefits may be taxable. Above $34,000, up to 85% may be taxable. For married couples filing jointly, the thresholds are $32,000 to $44,000 for the 50% level and above $44,000 for the 85% level. Now, this doesn't mean you pay 85% of your benefits in taxes. It means that 85% of your benefits are included in your taxable income, and then you pay your regular tax rate on that amount. Still, it's something to be aware of when planning your finances. You can have federal taxes withheld from your Social Security check if you want to avoid a big tax bill in April. You just need to fill out Form W-4V.